Welcome on in for today's NBA pick video play as we head into Wednesday's action for October 23rd, 2019. And as always, you can check out all of our NBA picks over at stumpthespread.com, which is linked down in the video description. Heading into this one, talking about this Eastern Conference matchup between the Detroit Pistons and the Indiana Pacers, and going to give our lean on where we see the better value on the over-under. Relatively low total here, about 210 points, but you also expect that number to drop down a little bit because the Pistons, they're going to be playing without Blake Griffin, their best player, and then the Pacers, of course, playing without Victor Oladipo. And just in terms of these two squads, the numbers that we saw from them last year, the Pistons, the averages they put up offensively, 107 points per contest, gave up a similar number. So the average total in a Pistons game last year, a little over 214 points. In contrast, the Indiana Pacers, they were 22nd in the league, 108 points per game, but also one of the best defensive squads, giving up around 105. But still, even with those numbers and having a top-tier defense last year, the Pacers, their average total was around 212 to 213 points, also above the 210 that we're getting for this matchup. We actually feel like the Pistons have a little bit higher ceiling offensively this campaign than what they had last year because they bring in Derrick Rose off the bench, and that should be some much-needed offensive firepower for them. Really, last year for the Pistons, they struggled with consistencies with that second unit, and they brought in some interesting veteran pieces to try to bolster this roster and try to take them to the next level. They were able to make the playoffs a season ago, but they were swept out very quickly coming in as the 8 seed. The Pistons, they possibly, if they can stay healthy anyways, have a ceiling that is a little bit higher than that. We'll see if that is the case for them or not, especially once Griffin gets back in the lineup, perhaps sometimes in the month of November. And the Pacers, they also have the pieces to be a playoff caliber squad again this season. And we feel like, specifically given the strengths now that the Pistons perhaps bring off the bench to add more consistent offensive push from them in this one, we feel like that can perhaps contribute to this being a little bit higher scoring than where Vegas has it. And then also you have to consider with Blake Griffin not being in the starting lineup, that means the Pistons are going to utilize guys a little bit more like Christian Wood and Thon Maker and some of these guys that can perhaps get up and down the court a little bit quicker and cause more transition game to happen for the Pistons in relation to if Griffin was out there on the court. So with all that being the case, we feel like the over 210 points, which is a relatively low total here, is going to be the better value bet. Again, guys, siding with the over 210 as the better value play. And if you agree, give the video a thumbs up. Disagree, give it a thumbs down. And you can check out all of our NBA picks over at stumpthespread.com, which is linked down in the video description.